Hello, I'm Pete Worthington from Legal Help for Veterans, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what is commonly known as VA math. Okay? And we're going to use as an example to help explain VA math, we're going to talk about a Vietnam veteran who is service-connected for multiple disabilities, PTSD, ischemic heart disease, diabetes mellitus, and tinnitus. His ratings are 50%, 30% for the heart, 20% for diabetes, and 10% for tinnitus. Now, using conventional math, if we add those together, we come up with 110. Okay? However, that's not the way that the VA does math, and therefore our Vietnam veteran is not going to get 110% or even 100% in terms of disability pay from the VA. The presumption of VA math is that if you have no disabilities, you're 100% functioning. There are no problems. And then when you have a disability, that takes away some of that functioning. So in this case, our veteran is 50% for PTSD, so half of his functioning is now impaired. Okay? And if that was his only disability, he would be paid 50% for that disability. Now here's where it starts, the VA math comes into play. The VA goes down to his next disability, which is 30%. Now that is not added 30 to 50. Instead, the 30% is based upon this remaining portion here that is not disabled in theory from PTSD. So 30% of 50 is actually 15%. So there's an additional 15% of the veteran that is now disabled due to ischemic heart disease. 15 and 50, of course, is 65. The VA doesn't pay in intervals, they pay in intervals of 10%. Therefore, they round 65 up. And if these were the only disabilities the veteran had, he would be paid at the 70% rate. Okay? Now his next disability, the next highest, is diabetes, which is 20%. So again, we're now looking at 20% of this remaining portion, which is now only 35% that's left over. So we're looking at 20% of 35, which is 7. So he has another 7%. You can still see he's quite a long ways away from 100%. Finally, we add in tinnitus. Tinnitus, there's actually 28% now left that's not disabled. So he only gets 2.8, 10% of that in addition. And when you calculate everything up, according to VA math, he's 74.8% disabled. In this case, the VA rounds down, and guess what? The veteran is still getting 70%, even though he has 2 additional disabilities on top of the disabilities that would have gotten him 70% in the first place. This is the reason why when you get a VA decision and you have multiple disabilities, that your rating doesn't always seem to fit what you think you should be rated at. But this is the way the VA does their calculations, and until they change the regulations, that's the way you're going to be rated.